beautiful!
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen,
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Done.
Damn it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight. Oh, I am Lord Dohalim of Elder Menancia. I command you.
Threats to the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one.
Astral energy! Full throttle! Firmament Ranger!
You picked the wrong fight.
Arrow Squall! Firmament Ranger! Annihilation!
Pieces! Attack time!
Magic is in! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Glacial Spear! Firmament Ranger! Freezing! Arrow Squall! Bring you down! Glacial Spear! Firmament Ranger! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
Firmament Ranger! Radiant Spear! Arrow Squall! Firmament Ranger! Arrow Squall!
Rending you apart.
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure.
They weren't in the least bit fit.
Indeed. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zeugles during experiments here and there.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in...
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here. And the
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron.
That enemy looks strong. I bet it'll be worth our while to fight it.
I've got a really bad feeling about
Remain
this.
with the earth.
Far enough!
Bathed in blood.
Arrow Squall! These rings can run rings around us!
Take this.
Tornado!
This one's mine.
Close one! You won't!
I can carve through walls.
Do it!
Look sharp. Lightning Tiger Blade.
Face with darkness! Glacial Spear!
I'll trip it up.
Firmament Ranger!
Stalagmite.
Arrow Squall! First aid!
Eternal devastation.
Reflect on
Hot
that
lane!
They
Reload!
smite
I'm
with
out of
black
ammo!
and gray.
Firmament Ranger! Annihilation! Arrow Squall!
Resonate with the
Firmament
earth.
Ranger!
Stalagmite. I'm ready.
Arrow Squall! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
Rising
Radiant Spear!
Nothing gets by me!
There! One more! Mega Ray! Arrow Squall!
Let free.
Firmament Ranger! Mine!
Bestowed
Arrow
on you.
Squall! Firmament Ranger!
I'm ready.
Endion! Astral Energy! Full throttle!
We can really make weapons with this?
No
Take this! Now you see what I can do!
Firmament Ranger! You won't bow out nice. Then you leave me no choice. Arrow Squall! Flame of Fury! Burning Glacial Firmament Ranger!
Split it open!
Be my guest.
Firmament Ranger!
This one's all mine.
Radiant Lunge! We'll soon see about that. Reload! I'm on a roll! Glacial Spear! Law! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Radiant Firmament Ranger! Arrow Squall! Too much to handle?
No further! Armor won't save you!
My shield.
I'm out of ammo! I'm almost out! Arrow Squall! Firmament Ranger! Fury! Arrow Squall! I never miss! Firmament Render! Glacial Spear! Magic is there! Close one! Freeze Lancer! Firmament...
Denied!
Dohalim!
Light Burst Force!
Radiant Genesis! Firmament Render! Arc Shield! Dohalim!
Light Burst Force!
Radiant Genesis!
All, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Is someone making them stand guard over the Forbidden Zone?
Coming through!
Not in your dreams!
Anything in armor! I can carve through armor!
Firmament Render! I think I'll pass on the handshake.
To be let free!
Raging Luna Storm!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust! Plasma Launch! Air thrust! Air thrust!
Benediction
Vanquish
Charge
darkness!
like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well I...
Sorry.
But this fight ends here!
Now, Asuna!
Right!
Benediction light!
Vanquish darkness!
Hey, how about this?
Another incantation. I'm sorry to cover.
Denied for me! Divine Strength!
Shattering pieces!
Where are you going?
Armor won't save you!
Vanquish darkness! Freezing hero! Ice tornado! Divine Strength!
Can't get out of this!
Vanquish darkness!
Explosive ring!
Shows I missed it nursing!
Divine Strength!
Dragon Force!
Annihilate in your dreams! Vanquish darkness! Out of ammo! Divine Strength!
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
I'm all vanquish darkness! Annihilation!
This one's mine!
I can carve through armor!
Vanquish darkness! I'm all soaked up!
Double Demon Fang!
Annihilation! Divine Strength! Locked and ready! Where are you going? Vanquish darkness!
Here,
Let me help!
rending you a bloody howling!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Will this help?
You're mine!
Take this!
Vanquish darkness! Healing circle!
Resonate with the earth.
done for.
Divine Strength!
Eat dirt!
Firmament Render! Arrow Squall! Firmament Render! Arrow Squall! Ready!
Try this!
Firmament Render! Arrow Squall! Firmament
Moving back!
Firmament Render! Arrow Squall!
You're mine! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Slush! Armor won't save you! Take it! Denied!
Firmament hook!
Mercy!
Arrow squall! Firmament render! Dohalim!
Light burst forth!
Radiant genesis! Haha! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Let's see what you've got.
The wise warrior knows when to call it quits. Little help! I never miss!
In a bind?
Firmament really don't give up, do they? Arrow squall! Firmament render!
Denied!
Firmament render! Falcon! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Firmament render!
I can carve through it!
Arrow squall! Here's a healing render! First aid! Arrow squall!
Eat dirt!
Firmament render! Here's evil wall!
Blade!
Magic eraser! Arrow squall! Here, let me help! First aid! Firmament render! Here! Arrow squall! Firmament render!
Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah! And pummeling to me!
Everyone hanging in there?
Get lost!
In a bind?
Take this!
Arrow squall! Firmament render! Bring you
Tell
down!
me, have you ever beaten a darkness to me? I'll smash you!
This one's
Look, all yours, Kisara.
wide open!
Won't escape me.
Here's a healing arc!
Erosive Fury!
Arrow first aid! Firmament render!
In an instant!
Here's a healing arc! First firmament render!
Sorry.
But this fight ends here!
Now, Asuna!
Right! None shall escape my judgment! Firmament render!
Dragasonic
Hooray! Arrow squall! Haha! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
I
Take
won't
this!
forgive you!
No further!
Radiant pierce! Arrow squall!
Ready and ready! I'll smash you!
That makes me the thorn in our side.
Firmament render!
Now, flowing freely!
Take it down!
I'm ready!
This one's got your name on it!
Action to action!
Nice. No scratches on my sheet. shield or my armor.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imeris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dahna. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imeris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning...
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness?
It was a conversation we had 300 years...
You mean all of that really happened?
But how is that even possible?
No,
Why not?
you guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, It was like a stream.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned, and for all we know, perhaps we're...
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision
We have no way of knowing.
She...
Yeah. It was. So that was my ancestor, huh?
Yeah, there's certain...
What about you?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of reliving painful episodes from.
I can't just pretend like the past. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony...
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now, I'd like to liberate them too, if I can. Which is just another reason I...
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Not that I'm complaining.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
A summoning?
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when...
We can talk later. Here it comes!
What? I've never known Faria to control symbols like that before.
All that was a stone that looked suspiciously like a master sword. Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the Google. Then we get some answers. Exploit the enemy. This isn't looking good.
Stop its charge! Thanks, Kitara!
Take this! Can't get out of this!
Divine Streak! I never miss!
Now you see what I can do! Okay.
Vanquish darkness! Not on my watch! Vanquish darkness! Gravitas field! Divine Streak! Annihilation! Mega ray!
Heal! I owe you one. Take this!
Vanquish darkness! I'll heal you all! Healing circle! Divine Streak!
I owe you one.
Here! I can handle it! Forward up!
Now you see what I can do!
Annihilation! Heavy! Flame of fury! Divine Streak! Vanquish darkness! I'm ready!
Bathed in blood.
Divine Streak! Ready! Radiant light! Here! It's weakened! Vanquish
This
darkness!
ends now!
Raging Luna Storm!
Divine Streak! Freezing storm!
Don't get carried away!
Take this!
Now you see what I can do!
Vanquish darkness!
This one's mine!
Annihilation!
No further!
Radiant pierce!
Here,
Divine Hunter! First aid! Forward up! Vanquish darkness! Hear me! Flame of fury! Burning strike! Piercing! Vanquish darkness!
Raising you a bloody howling!
Divine strength!
Show thy mystic mercy!
Swordblade Alpha!
Vanquish darkness!
Eat dirt!
Vanquish darkness!
Take this! Take this!
Destruction!
Mega Ray! Divine Stream! Mega Ray!
It's gonna attack!
Right, watch out! Not on my watch!
Azure
Ready?
Storm!
I can handle it!
Demon Fang!
Denied! Vanquish darkness! Hear me! Flame of fury!
This one's mine!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Vanquish darkness!
Raging Luna Storm!
Here's a healing tree!
You'll pay for that!
I still got some fight left in me! Annihilation! Mega!
Can you take
Just
it?
what the doctor ordered! Here, let me help!
Dazzle!
Freezing storm! Tornado!
Take this!
Better! Come on! Here's a healing
Bestow
art!
thy mystic
First
mercy!
aid! Where are you going? Divine Streak! Here I go! Better!
I'm pile driver! Through armor!
Far enough!
Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang!
Radiant Flood!
Raging Luna
Vanquish darkness!
Benedict
Just what the doctor ordered! There!
Heal!
Yes! Mega Ray! Lightning! Downfall!
Lunarondo!
Divine Streak!
Wide open!
Shield!
It won't escape me!
Azure Storm!
Can't get out of this!
Double Demon Fang!
Divine Streak! Vanquish darkness! Divine Streak! Close one! Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
Now you see what I can do!
Can't move!
I couldn't make it into...
Down!
So you clamor for my true power?
Vanquish darkness!
Azure Storm!
Stalagmite!
Here, let me help! I'm almost impressed! I said on... Get carried away.
Bestow thy mystic mercy!
Mega Ray! Thunderblast!
Very good! Don't
Far enough! Resuscitation! Ready to go!
rage it no further.
Reload! Damn it! Out of ammo! Resuscitation! Vanquish! I'm all
Not
set
done
up! Too shy to come over? Here, let me help! Divine healing! This can't be happening! A new lease on life! Eat this!
Flame inside me! Yours to be let free!
Better! Eat this! Firmament render! Tiger blade! Ready to go!
I'm on it!
That's it! I'll heal you all! Divine
Their arms were interrupted.
Appreciate the help! Firmament render! Arrow tail! Vanquish! Here's a healing art!
Resonate with the earth! Stalagmite!
Won't give up!
Can't move! Blood! Rending you apart out of the woods, it seems. Heal! The earth throbs in pain. Take this!
I owe you! One.
Benedict
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Vanquish darkness! Here's a healing art! First aid! Don't leave me! Hear me! Flame of fury! Burning strike! Glacial spear! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitate! Just what the doctor ordered! Mega ray! Lightning! Downfall! I'm out of ammo! Firmament render! A new resolve! Firmament render! Give up! Arid wall! Firmament render!
Is this it? Execution! Take this!
Firmament
Can't
render!
get out of this!
Ready to go! Art sealed!
Resonate with the earth!
Firmament render!
Bestow thy mystic mercy!
Arrow claw!
Being interrupted! Surely! In an instant! Impact cross! Now it's just her!
Faria! Can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning!
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more. Dohalim!
Forgive me.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case,
I'll take her off your hands.
You?
Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. As for Faria,
You don't seriously blame me.
somebody got to her. To strike back at me. And the same goes for you as well. Neither.
You're wrong. Kalzalik was the one who... As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be... But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole...
Indeed. Ridding society.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear. But those people are dead. Forgiveness, acceptance...
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never not for those already passed.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies,
That's what living's all about. Punishing yourself for the past?
Only fixing the...
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim. Not for yesterday.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve.
Shion,
Huh?
thank you. You have my...
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
Do you think Faria was...
Certainly seemed that way.
the same person who's behind all of
Brainwashed or otherwise. The
Someone used her because they knew we'd hold back.
It does tell us one thing, at least. Someone here in Lenegis is watching.
There's no question.
by someone capable of getting inside a person and...
What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her. It reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
if it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions...
I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want Oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure.
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the Thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way. Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion. I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shion and Dan.
That vision we saw.
What do you make of it? Do you still think the...
Maybe it's trying to tell us something.
Well, it could be supernatural. You know, like seeing dead people.
That's your grand theory? That we're being...
Wait. He might be... What if a person's thoughts and deeds were to somehow become indelibly etched into the ether of a place? And what if those with a connection could then somehow pick up on...
You think that's what it was? Some kind of mess?
I am merely entertaining the possibility. Whether it was Dana's will...
Okay, back up a sec. You're saying that if a place is full of enough astral energy...
More to the point, how does that much astral energy gather in...
Whatever it was, it survived here intact for 300 years. Whoever left it for us, the strength of their intent is beyond doubt.
The strength of their intent. Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am,
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about...
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe. Whoever the Sovereign is.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were
No, not that I can remember. Then again...
The Forbidden Zone is a hallowed place, at one with the Sovereign's... That is what we believed this place to be. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's truth. I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records, by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danan astral energy, so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, taking the form of a Dahnan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Cores. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique Adjustment Index, Generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique Adjustment Index, Generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine, but it's strange. I've got all this rage inside.
If that were to happen, then No.
Yeah,
That's right. Nope.
If you ever start to lose your way, you could...
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Naori...
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.